When you look for planche tutorials, the first progression you usually find is the tuck planche. Now, in my opinion, that's a really hard exercise to start with. You need a strong core, straight arm strength, balance, and coordination to be able to do that move. So let me give you a few exercises that will work on those, so you can start working on your tuck planche step by step. The first exercise I like to give you to try is the dip hold. All you need is a dip bar. Ideally try to find one that's just outside your shoulder width. When the dip bar is too wide, it makes the exercise harder. Jump up to the dip bar and just try to hold that position with straight arm, toes pointed forward so you engage your core, with a shoulder depression. Shoulder depression simply means that the shoulders are pushed down away from the ears into the ear socket. And don't get confused by its name, because the shoulders are actually the happiest when they're depressed. If you find this really difficult and you're not able to hold your shoulders away from the ear for multiple seconds, then don't worry, you can go down to a previous step and practice the same with the feet assistance. As you get stronger, you can elevate your feet. That will put more of your weight onto your shoulders and that makes the exercise harder. When you're ready, go back to the dip bar and rep these out. Now that you can comfortably hold yourself on the dip bar with a straight arm, you can add a little challenge to this by leaning forward, keeping the arm straight. The more you lean forward, the more you will feel the pressure at the ditch of your elbow. And if you find this too difficult, you can practice the same on the floor with your mini bars and this exercise called the Planche Lean. Keep your arm straight, squeeze your core, squeeze your butt, and push your shoulders down towards the floor, and that's called scapular protraction. Protraction simply means you're pushing your shoulders forward. So today we focus on the depression, shoulders down, and the protraction, shoulders forward. When you first try this lean, it might be a little bit challenging on your wrist, so make sure you warm them up. I include a quick warm-up here, but the more you do this and the slower, the more gradually you go, the stronger your wrist's gonna get, and you shouldn't get any pain in the long run. Now we're going to move on to two core exercises that will strengthen your core that's required for the tuck planche. The first one is a leg raise. I call this the Gymnast Leg Raise only because it's harder than a normal leg raise. If you find this really difficult, you can lean back slightly, or you can just do single leg raises, and eventually you build up the strength to do this together. The other core exercise I like to give you is the seated core compressions. With this one you can start using some momentum to make the exercise easier, but eventually you want to be able to do this strict. And you can also pair this up with the previous exercise. So you can do a Gymnast Leg Raise, have your hands close to your knees if you can. If it's too challenging, bring it back closer to your hips, and then pair this up with your seated core compression and do reps back and forth. You should feel a great engagement in your core, and take note of that feeling because you're going to need it for the next exercise. And the next exercise I have for you is a feet-assisted Gymnast Tuck slides. This exercise stems off the previous seated core compression, but you also build in on the range of motion. As you can see, you're raising your hip high, in line with your shoulders almost, mimicking the tuck planche position. When you can do multiple reps of this exercise, then we can move this to the dip bar. What's important about the Gymnast Tuck on the dip bar, you want to use similar movement that you just did on a previous progression. So lifting your hip and slightly raising your feet as opposed to just doing normal leg raises. And as you can see, you're getting really close to that tuck planche position momentarily. When you're able to do multiple reps of this exercise, you're going to be able to have a couple seconds pause at the top of the exercise. And when you can do that, all you need to do is lift your knees up, and congratulations, that is a tuck planche. When you get to this stage, you can do tuck planche pumps. With this exercise, you also want to build the reps, be able to hold the top position momentarily, come back down, and do it for reps. Some days you might be able to hold it longer, some other days you can only do the repetitions without any hold at the top, but it's absolutely fine. Remember, the better you are with a Gymnast Tuck, the easier your tuck planche is going to be. And if you still struggle with a Gymnast Tuck, just go back to your progression and build a rep with the feet-assisted version. And that's it. Keep working on these, and I promise you, you're going to be able to do the tuck planche.